We are live at Iverdance Sports Park in Edmonton, Alberta for the 2025 edition of the Canadian Ultimate Championship Junior Division. It's Anthony welcoming you, sharing the mic with Tyler Edwards. Thanks, Tyler, for joining us for today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Etienne.
So we have two teams in the open division here today. Can you present us which are those two teams?
Yeah, so first we have High Tide out of New Brunswick and then Sauga out of Ontario.
So Sauga as in Mississauga.
That's
and
it.
High Tide as the High Tide of New Brunswick, I'm assuming.
The Bay of Fundy.
And as you mentioned, Tyler, you suspect that just based on the name of High Tide, you suspect it's probably coming more towards the northern part of New Brunswick.
That's it, yeah. I'm a native New Brunswicker, and a lot of the French names come from the north side, near the Quebec border.
So looking forward an exciting game. Sauga wearing the white jerseys on your left hand side of the screen, while High Tide wearing the dark jerseys on your right hand side. Thanks for being with us. So it's our third web stream of the day. Tyler, we usually thank people at the end of the stream, but I like to do it at the beginning of the stream because there's a gazillion effort required in order to provide this web stream, not only this web stream, but this whole tournament. So we'd like to thank all Ultimate Canada organization, all the volunteers also taking part in making that event a success. Also all the coaches and the supporting parents who drove gazillions of kilometers in order to bring their kids to their practice or to the airport or driving here to Edmonton, Alberta for this 2025 Canadian Ultimate Championship. Sauga wearing the white jerseys, starting this game on offense. At the brick mark after the pull ended out of bounds. Zone defense being played by High Tide. Number 7, Alex C. Great zone defense being played by High Tide, putting a ton of pressure. We are in the open division, and you're not mistaking, number 7 is a women that is open division, so everybody can play. Unfortunate miscue by Sauga with a break opportunity for High Tide to kick things off in this right in the beginning of this game. Nice break flick. This nice little left hand backhand pass. Was that got in or was it on the line? There is the observer is confirming the point for High Tide, not only their first point, but their first break point of the game. The New Brunswick squad leading 1-0.
Yeah, there was really good patience on the offense from Sauga to start it out. They moved the disc, they didn't force anything through the offense, and it was just one sort of unfortunate step out to try and pass. It was hand blocked by the cup, and then High Tide capitalized on that. So
no need to say, you can hear it through our mic. It is a windy day. Steady, gutsy winds here in Edmonton. So of course it will have an impact on the output of this game. And how important would it be, Tyler, to score the turnover that are made near the end? So you need to convert that right away.
yes, absolutely, especially with the wind. Any break point you can get is huge. Yeah.
Sauga suffering not only their first point, but the first break point. For those who are less familiar with the game, what's a break point? Well, you can make a comparison to tennis. When you are serving, you expect to win the game. And ultimate, when you start on offense, well, logic should make that you score the point. So if you start on defense and you end up scoring the point, that's what we call a break point. Long pull falling far, far away, deep in Sauga's end zone. So the Sauga player running back to the brick mark when the disc lands out of bounds. The disc back in the middle. It's kind of a penalty, distance penalty. Team that put the disc out of the field. Zone defense by High Tide. Sauga looking to find some holes. Move the disc forward. They are now about 60 yards away from the goal line. Going upwind. Nice disc movement, nice pass and run. Going long, it's floating. Now it's out of bounds, coming back in. But it was intercepted, so it will stay near High Tide end zone, but quickly moving it forward. Béliveau with the disc. Now it's Thériault to Béliveau. Béliveau with a nice flick underneath, finding Hébert, but blocked a few yards away from the end zone. So Sauga with the redemption opportunity of this offense possession. High Tide sticking to their zone defense. Nice cup, which have caused a ton of problem to Sauga so far, but finding the hole, moving forward, blending to a one-to-one defense. Tim Lavin finding his teammate Demeter. Bryant. Now it's Lavin, the other Lavin. Anthony. Resetting to Hendrickson. Harris with the disc. Still midfield. Pass and run. Turnover. Fortunate miscue. Béliveau. Maxime Béliveau. On met le disque en jeu. Oh, partially blocked by number 8 Davidson Yearwood, but fell a little short. Disc going across, but out of reach of the High Tide receiver. Sauga trying to move the disc before High Tide's zone sets up, which they are able to do. One-to-one defense. Great transition on defense by the dark jerseys. Tons of traffic, not much cuts in. There's 3 cutters going long, which allows the other ender of Sauga to open themselves up. Nice vertical by Demeter. Ryan wearing number 11. Great grab. Was that caught in? No. The observers was standing by. Confirms it was caught out of bounds. So you see the orange jerseys acting as observers. They are not referees. They are observing. They will actively call the lines, but they will be reactive if there's any foul. We'll get back to this point whenever it occurs. Great miscued by High Tide, providing Sauga another opportunity to confirm this offense home. Along the sideline, but the wind picks it up, make it out of reach. High Tides at their own goal line. Béliveau finding Hébert. Oh, just out of reach of Rochon Paris. High Tide toujours en défense. On va commencer le point défensif. Sauga cherche à confirmer cette possession offensive. Oh là, c'est extrêmement serré. Number 92 Harris saving this disc. Nice pass. Finding debater for Sauga's first point. We are tied at 1 after a long and well-fought point by both of the squads.
Yeah, both teams showed some decent control and some good passes in the midfield, but there were some quick decisions on both end zone lines that resulted in some, I would say, unforced turnovers. And in this kind of wind, you really have to make sure that those shots are closer to 100%.
Each turnover can be very costly.
Yeah.
And the wind is not taking any breaks.
Nope.
Sustained, sometimes gutsy.
Yeah. And especially for long points like that, we're only the second point into this game. You start to fatigue. So being out there for any longer than you have to starts to wear off you. So
for these two teams, if I'm not mistaken, it will be their third game of today.
Mm-hmm.
So usually the Canadian National Championship format, you play 3 games, sometimes 4, depending on the format, but usually it's more 3 days. So with all the warm-ups, and considering all the excitement, you're not sleeping in your bed, you're sleeping at a hotel room with your teammates. So
yeah, and probably for a lot of these kids, this is the first time maybe traveling to Alberta or traveling for a long trip.
Absolutely.
So a lot of excitement.
High Tides, défensive de zone, effectuée par Sauga. Numéro 9, Landry. Boulot Lajoie. Leblanc. Arthur Leblanc. Il y a quelques Leblanc sur l'alignement. On a Arthur, on a Bruno et on a Xavier aussi. On appelle la région du Nouveau-Brunswick. Salut à la communauté acadienne. Et on a tenté la passe le long de la ligne, là, mais c'était un peu court là, avec le vent là, qui a vraiment freiné l'élan de ce disque. It will be a break opportunity for Sauga. Sean Duncan, Sauga's captain, with the disc, feeding Grimshaw midfield. Going long around his mark. And it's complete. Luke Duguay. Sauga in the red zone. Great dish finding Shara Pearson. Pearson going on the open side, resetting. Nice break pass, but well defended by High Tide. And the dark jerseys will have another opportunity to secure that offense hold, but they will have to find solution against Sauga's zone defense. Nice pass and run. Great fake. Wow, even myself, I think I would have bitten.
I totally would have.
From where I stand. High Tide attempted one hand grab. Fortunately, not complete. Pearson with the disc, flicking it to Nick Torrance, looking on the break side. Great exchange. Looking for an opportunity. Pearson's offering herself as a target inside, faking the hammer but holding it back. Nice, precise pass for Sauga's point, and it's a break point. We are tied in regards of break point in this game, but Sauga taking a 1-point lead early in this first half.
I'm very it's very cool to see these guys throw such crisp throws and have such patience with the disc. I don't have a lot of experience watching junior ultimate. I will absolutely say that. So seeing these guys like play so well is really cool to see. Yeah.
Shara Pearson wearing number 7 for Sauga. So far having a great impact. She had the pass for that break point. As we mentioned, the open division is not a men's division. It's an open division. Anybody
Exactly.
can play in the open division. And so far, Pearson have shown no sign of being intimidated by playing against guys. She's very, very confident and had a great impact. Sauga suffering the first break point, and now scored the last 2 points, taking a short 2-point lead early in the game. Sauga with the pull. That land out of bounds? Yes, it does. So High Tide will have a few yards free ride. It will put it back at the brick mark. And I suspect Sauga will set a zone defense. Indeed, they do. High Tide. Moving it from left to right. Landry pivote bien. C'est Bouteau la joie maintenant avec le disque. Cherche une option. Remet sagement en soutien à Landry qui retient son geste. Bouteau la joie encore une fois trouve l'ouverture. C'est maintenant Adrien Hébert avec le disque. Hébert remet en soutien à l'artilleur Landry. Oh la passe. Oh, ça a été attrapé! Sauvé à quelques centimètres du sol. Wow! Quel attrapé de Leblanc. Landry, toujours en contrôle. Arthur Leblanc avec le disque à quelques mètres de la zone de pointe. Alimente son coéquipier. Est-ce que ça a été attrapé à l'extérieur? On confirme par les observateurs. C'est Bouteau Lajoie qui inscrit le deuxième point de High Tide. We are tied at 2. High Tide tying it. That was tough to say. Nonetheless, 2-2.
Yeah. As well as High Tide moved it there, Sauga did a really great job of containing the continuation pass. You know, if the disc made it through the cup or made it near one of the sideline players, it didn't go any further than that. If they contained it, it was High Tide had to work for every inch on that one.
I guess that's what you want us to do in those weather conditions, very, very windy. You want the opposite team to do a maximum of passes, you know, statistically speaking.
Exactly.
One will fall down. For
Yep.
sure.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
There you go.
That's it.
So for those who like numbers, good teams complete approximately 93% of their passes.
I didn't know that.
So if you round it up, 1 out of 10 will fall down or will be turf or will be blocked or something will happen that you will take the disc back into your hands.
So more like death by 9.3 cuts.
There you go. It's a lot of numbers. It's a lot of numbers. High Tides with the disc. With the pull. Nice upwind pull landing in Sauga's red zone. Quickly finding Pearson midfield. Zone defense by the dark jerseys. Pearson looking for an option. Finds her teammate, Captain Duncan. Floaty disc. Pearson in control. Looking for nice scuba. Just above the cup. Finding Nick Torrance. Now some movement, some momentum. Great layout grab by number 9, Nick Torrance, saving the day for this possession. Pearson looking for an option, still zone defense. There's a player poach behind Torrance. He finds it. Duncan looking for an option, going long. Great angle disc. Oh, second opportunity of catching it after Luke Duguay could not get his hands on, but it lands out of bound. The death corner. When there's wind, you don't want to be in that position with the disc in your hand. It's tough, but a great pass. No hesitation de la part du numéro 9, Nicolas Landry. Landry, great pass and run. Still has the disc. Nice flick, but oh, just falls short of Vincent Thériault. Sauga looking to secure that offense hold. Duncan with the disc. Fakes it, holds it, flicks it across the field, but it will land out of reach of number 10, Nick Torrance. Pearson was the intended receiver of that pass. Sauga having to defend. Quickly moving the disc in the middle for high tides near the break mark. Landry find the hole, feeding Duplessis. Crossing the midfield line. Leblanc à Duplessis. On hésite. Le lancer marteau, ça flotte. C'est Landry qui vient sauver la donne et alimente rapidement son coéquipier. Je crois que c'est le Vincent Thériault, numéro 77, High Tide, scoring their third point of the game, which is a break point. High Tide having scored 2 break points, while Sauga only scored once. Nonetheless, the New Brunswick squad leading by 1 point in this first half.
That's interesting. There are 3 of the 5 points so far that have been break points. That is interesting. Not something I would have expected with the wind.
So I guess this weather condition, that's something might be surprising, but not that surprising.
Yes, well, I mean, in Edmonton here, we're a little notorious for having swirly winds. They don't always go in the same direction. Sometimes they go across, sometimes they go down the field, sometimes they go up and down. You never know what you're going to get. So you may start with the advantage, but you might end with a disadvantage.
So some discussion from High Tide. Just wanted to make sure everybody's aligned on the game plan. So these teams, we are now in the pool play. These 2 teams being in the same pool. They were ranked, Sauga was ranked 3rd of Pool A, while High Tide was ranked 4th of Pool A, which counts 4 teams. The other 2 teams are Canyon from British Columbia and Titan from Quebec. I know Titan has played High Tide earlier today, and they have won by a short point. And the last notice I got of their games versus Sauga, Sauga was actually leading. So I don't know what's the exact score, but for sure it was a very well fought battle. That's what they came here for, to fight for that national championship. Sauga at the brick mark against High Tide zone defense. No holes, losing some yardage, resetting backward almost at their own goal line. Sauga finding a little hole, but oh, the one hand attempt grab was not completed, was attempted by Team Levin. High Tide with a break opportunity, 18 yards away from the goal line. C'est Leblanc, Xavier Leblanc. C'est Landry maintenant, toujours à Xavier Leblanc. Moins d'une dizaine de verges aux petites passes, ça c'était serré, il y avait peu d'espace, mais c'est Bouteau-Lajoie qui l'accepte. Vraiment en soutien à Landry là, qui vraiment mène de belle façon cette initiative. On l'a bien bloqué, well read, well anticipated, and denied by Sauga defense. Number 2, Anthony Lavin, but another turnover 1 yard away. Fakes the quick dish, but releases it and finds Abraham Léger. High Tide scoring their second consecutive break point, now leading 4-2 against Mississauga's Sauga.
Timeout called.
So great counter by High Tide. No hesitation. They just picked up the disc. When you're 1 yard away, you like don't hesitate. At least make some fakes to make sure that the defense is moving. Look for your options. And no hesitation. So now there's a timeout called by Sauga.
Yes, obviously looking to try and get that momentum broken up a little bit from High Tide.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's all about the momentum. How do you build that momentum? How do you secure it? How do you close the gap, or at least stop the bleeding?
Right now, it's controlling the disc. I think they just need to. They're making a few decisions that have cost them, and with due respect to High Tide, they've definitely put the pressure on defense and made Sauga have to make some tough throws. So, trying to get some good crisp throws, clean things, and control the disc, I think, is what they need to do to score.
So while we're taking this timeout, and take a few seconds to do some land acknowledgement. So acknowledging that we are on Treaty 6 territory, which is a traditional land of Cree, Deni, Saulteaux, and Nakotasu and Blackfoot peoples, plus part of the homelands of Métis peoples. Also like to thank our sponsors, The Ultimate Photos, and the provider of this for this competition, Discraft. High Tide from New Brunswick, leading 4-2 against Ontario Sauga. Interesting story for Sauga. They were the parents were a little tired of driving an hour ago, now we're back for the practice in Toronto. So decided, hey, let's start our club right here in Mississauga. So that happened 2 years ago. And they are here fighting for the national titles. Congratulations for the initiatives. And,
So this club is only in its second year then?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely. Big kudos for those who took that initiative, and wishing you the best for the future of your program. In the meantime, Sauga at the brick mark against High Tide zone defense, which has been pretty difficult. No, not much answer to that zone defense. And here's another proof that it is effective. Nice low release flick break pass from number 14, Bruno Leblanc. Fait une superbe passe pour briser sa marque pour le point. Et c'est un 5e point. And it's all about High Tide, which have scored the last 4 points after suffering 2 consecutive points by Sauga.
Yeah, and sort of what you saw there was the Sauga having to throw upwind, and the wind just threw it to the ground. And then in pretty much every case where you're on the end zone and the other team is on zone offense, and you have to switch quickly to defense, someone gets left open. And that's exactly what you see there, where the Sauga or the High Tide player was all wide open for that quick pass into the end zone.
So Tyler, do you think that in order for Sauga to find some answers to High Tide zone defense, would that be to be more active, like crashing the zone, or to have more people, maybe a fourth handler, getting involved into all the handling work?
It looks to me like Sauga isn't doing as well as High Tide in terms of helping the handler reset. A lot of really quick dish passes is coming out of High Tide, and Sauga's sort of relying on some step-out passes around. So I would absolutely like to see Sauga come back and help support those handlers. And if that means bringing a fourth person back so you can have shorter passes to swing up the field, that is absolutely a thing that they could be doing.
So already the 27th minute of this game. Still a zone defense being played, but Sauga finding some hole, transition to a 1-to-1 defense by High Tides. Kind of a seamless transition by the dark jerseys. Sauga holding it. Seems to have going back to a zone defense. But now melting to a 1-to-1 was the official call by the sideline. Mekana with the disc. Now to Demeter. Dishing it on his right-hand side. Right in the middle, number 92, Harris. Catching that disc. Sauga in a great position. Lavin, Anthony Lavin with the disc. Nice pass and run. The two twin brother Anthony and Tim Lavin wearing respectively number 2 and number 5. And Sauga scoring their third point of the game. Stopping the bleeding. They've suffered the last 4 points, but making this game a 2-point game at the 28th minute of play.
Yeah, Sauga just played good fundamental disc golf. Sorry, pardon me. That's my sport these days, disc golf. Ultimate. They just make good decisions. They were cutting to the holes. They moved it around well, and then this is the result.
Speaking of disc golf, there's actually this week there was the World Game being played in China. There is a disc golf competition. We don't have the result, but if you can look on the World's Game, Canada had some representative, but there's also an ultimate frisbee tournament, which actually starts tonight, Edmonton time at 10 o'clock in the evening. So looking forward for Canada in their first game. It's only 8 countries are being represented in this kind of the finest of the finest of ultimates on the planet. So Canada will be very well represented. So is the United States, Australia, France, Germany, Colombia, China, and I'm forgetting one country, but it will come back to me. So looking forward for the first game of Canada against Colombia tonight at 10. So go on the World Game app and you can stream all the games free.
That's awesome.
Zone defense by Sauga deep into high tides. Smelly Callahan opportunity here. High tide stuck on the sideline. Intense zone defense played by Sauga. Nice little blady flick, finding the holes, creating some momentum for the dark jerseys. Little push pass. Numéro 18, Hébert Chiasson. Va avec confiance dans ces conditions venteuses. Maintenant, Adrien Hébert. Belle transition avec Arthur Leblanc maintenant. Avec le disque. Va centrer. Hébert Chiasson poursuit. Oh, le disque qui flotte. And it's blocked. Number 18, Kieran Grimshaw, denying this high tide offense hold. But oh, that same Grimshaw could not handle that pass. Another opportunity of hold for high tides. Well, I should say they started the point on defense. High tides started the point on defense, so looking for a break opportunity. Hébert Chiasson avec le disque. Remet en soutien. Oh, encore une fois le disque qui flotte. Et c'est rabattu au sol. Well defended by Luke Smith. Quickly, a flick almost caught by number 5, Tim Lavin. But number 88, Arthur Leblanc, denies it. Again, Sauga, zone defense, which has proven creating a lot of problem to high tides O-line when they try to score a break point, which they have scored 4 so far in this game against Sauga, only 1 break point. Great momentum by the dark jerseys. Oh, the wind picking up the disc last minute. The intended receiver was not able to secure it. Turnover in favor of Sauga. Pearson will put the disc back into play. Pearson. Torrance. Midfield. On the open side. Demeter. Duncan going long, and oh, it was almost in the basket. Grimshaw dropping that pass. Unfortunately, well, that wind is creating all sorts of last-second movement, making it hard, and Grimshaw has unfortunately experienced it over the last three turnovers. So timeout call by High Tides. So Tyler, High Tides, you're calling a timeout. What do you think will be discussed in the huddle?
I think this is a lot to do with, this has been a long point. There's been a lot of running, and you've had a few big shots. This is probably just to give these guys maybe a little bit of a break, a little bit of a pep talk. There have been some windy drops on both sides, so maybe just give a little break, kind of cool down a little bit, digress, figure it out. But yeah, I kind of want to talk a little bit about the beginning of the point when Sauga had them trapped in the corner in the end zone.
Right.
That's a place you want to be when you're on defense, and you really don't want to be when you're on offense. And you got to know that, you know, when Sauga was on that zone, they were absolutely thinking Callahan.
Absolutely.
So you got to hungry for that.
Absolutely. So while we're being entertained with some great dancing by the New Brunswick squad. New Brunswick, well, you know, if I was leading 5-3, I'd be more, you know, I would dance a little. Not that much, because it's only 5-3. But High Tide have scored 4 break point, while Sauga have only scored 1. High Tide at their own goal line still facing up Sauga's zone defense, and the wind gusting, looking for a reset, going sideways, still on their own goal line. Wow, that wind is not fun when you have a disc in your hand, but still they're throwing up wind, finding the holes into Sauga's zone defense, earning some breathing room, a couple of yards off their own goal line. Great pivot work by number 88, Arthur Leblanc. Finding a hole, feeding Corey Ferguson, midfield, now on the open side. There's the opening for the giant jerseys. Sauga transitioning to a one-to-one defense. Resetting. Finding Boulot-Lajoie. Au Bouteau-Lajoie, pardonnez-moi. Bouteau-Lajoie cherche une réponse. Met en soutien. On va trouver Arthur Leblanc. Oh, le disque flotte, c'est quelque chose qu'on a vu souvent. C'est bien attrapé par le numéro 17, Adrien Hébert. Et il y a eu quelque peu de contact. On a fait la passe quand même et on confirme avec les observateurs qu'il y a point. So the 6-point score by High Tide now, leading by 3. And it's the 5th consecutive, not the 5th, but the last 6.5 of them were scored by High Tide.
In spite of the wind, they moved it really well up there. Into the wind.
Impressive.
Yes.
Tyler, I gotta say, I'm impressed with all the handling skills that we've seen so far today here at this Junior National Championship. All the skills that those men's and women athletes have displayed here on the, not only this web stream, but I've been walking around and I've seen a ton of very, very skillful players and athletes. Very, very impressive to play that good in those tough conditions. So the weather forecast for the remaining of the year, the remaining of the week, I should say, it will be, I believe, entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
We are forecasting some great weather, some less great weather, and that not very great weather towards the middle of the week. So looking forward to seeing what conditions will the final be played on Wednesday
Yes.
for the junior divisions.
It's looking like rain so far, but storms move pretty crazy here in Alberta, so who knows? Could be bright and sunny.
Long pull, but landing unfortunately about 10 yards out of bound. So Sauga will put it back into play at the brick mark. Two players await the disc carrier at the brick mark. So do they want to fake a zone defense? Not very good fake. It is a zone defense. Still very effective. Sauga going long. Floaty disc. And it's almost caught by number 92, Harris, but it just rolled out of his hands. Landry remet le disque en jeu, contourne sa marque, alimente Gabriel Bourreau contre le numéro 11. Landry, encore une fois, l'artilleur en chef, prend les choses en main. Beau pivot ici là, pour rejoindre Maxime Duplessis. Duplessis qui la laisse aller, mais ça atterrira très loin à l'extérieur. I guess with that last pass, the question is, where did it went out? The observer seems to show that it went out just before the goal line. Or maybe upward. Yeah, about, 6.5 yards away from the goal line. Sauga trying to move the disc quickly and not allow high tide zone defense to set up while the wind is picking up again. Going sideways, Tim Lavin finding the captain, Sean Duncan. The twin brothers Lavin being actively involved. Going long! It's floating. Two dark jerseys, two white jerseys still floating. Almost caught. Number 11, Ryan Demeter. I think he might have lost sight of the disc due to the sun. Or the wind picked it up, who knows? But great fight, resulting in a turnover, favoring high tides. Great battle by the two teams. Is it the longest point we've watched in this game? Maybe it is.
It's up there.
But hey, speaking of long points, here's the conclusion of that long point. Ryan Demeter catching the disc for Sauga, 4th point, making this game a 2-point game. Still high tide in the driver's seat. 6-4 for New Brunswick.
Yeah, something we spoke a little bit about earlier about what I thought Sauga needed to do to start scoring some points. And in that instance there, where there was a defense on, high tide had them push back, and Sauga wasn't quite supporting their handlers, but once they got it moving, it was fairly smooth. So it's if they can keep up that, I think we're going to have a pretty tight game here.
Supporting the handler, as you very well said. That's one key of the recipe in order to close that 2 points gap they are suffering from right now.
Yeah.
So we have a full lineup of web stream throughout this junior national championship. And if that wasn't enough, right after the junior championship, there will be the senior championship, offering the best of what Canada has of ultimate teams in the women's, mixed, and open division. And it will all be played here in Edmonton. So looking forward for a full week of great Canadian ultimate action. High tides contre la zone de Sauga. milieu. On trouve la faille. On remet avec la latérale et tout de suite, on dégaine pour une tentative de longue passe qui était peut-être ambitieuse. La cible étant le numéro 16. Et c'était un peu court. Turnover with Sauga with a break opportunity. Pearson with the disc going around a mark. Midfield. Duguay dishing it to Torrance. Feeding Pearson. Fake. The backhand holds it back. Going flick. Duncan going long. Oh, just out of reach of Duguay. Great decision, but again, the wind putting it out of reach. High Tide with the disc at their own goal line. Sauga setting up their zone defense. High Tides in their own goal line. Finding some breathing room, just one pivot foot away from their own goal line. Oh, nice little pass underneath to find the hole into Sauga's zone defense. High Tides grinding it up the field. Nice pivot work. Some little contact. Number 17, Adrien Hébert suffering, but no damage. High Tides qui continue son travail. Trouver des gains, trouver des trous dans cette défensive de Sauga qui a aidé du vent là, qui souffle sur le terrain. C'est une tâche tout sauf simple. Et voilà le petit espace. On rejoint, c'était le numéro 8, Bouteau Lajoie, si je ne me trompe. Encore lui, milieu de terrain, Adrien Hébert. Et voilà, on a réussi à se défaire de la zone défensive de Sauga. On poursuit le boulot du côté des Noirs, milieu de terrain. C'est maintenant Hébert, encore lui. Petite passe, on bâtit vraiment, on gagne ses verges à coup de petites passes, de passes courts et de beaux enchaînements du côté de l'équipe néo-brunswickoise. Arthur Leblanc trouve son coéquipier à moins de 5 verges de la zone payante, retient son geste. C'est Hébert Chiasson avec le disque, remet en soutien défensif 1 pour 1, très serré. On doit gagner les espaces. Oh, le disque qui flotte ici. C'est à tout le monde le disque. Et c'est rabattu au sol. Well fought by Sauga, creating a turnover. Duncan, no hesitation, going low! Just a few centimeters away from Luke Smith. Wow, what a flick! Going 70 yards by Duncan. Helped a little with the wind, but still, nonetheless, impressive huck.
Very impressive. Flat, straight.
Tout le travail que High Tides a effectué pour gagner le terrain est à refaire. 70 verges chèrement gagnées. Eh bien, c'est pour tout recommencer le travail. Et voilà, ils sont en marche. Progressent bien. Milieu de terrain, oh, just out of reach of number 17, Adrien Hébert. Sauga hunting down a break point. Pearson will take the lead, putting the disc back into play. Torrance on the right-hand side. Pearson attacking the line. Tons of pressure of defense, but she holds it. Now looking for an opportunity. Nice little flick. Finding Torrance on the doorstep of a potential break point. Sauga threatening. Was that caught? Waiting for a confirmation. Yes, confirmed by the observers. Sauga's 5th point and their 2nd break point of this game, making it a 1-point game after 47 minutes of play.
That first possession by High Tide was impressive. They kept possession of that the entire time up the field, and I mean up until the very last throw into the end zone. I don't think I've seen that happen very often, let alone at this level. That's such impressive. And then to have Sauga stay with it and then battle back and get the point. Awesome, cool, love to see it.
And we've seen it from, as you mentioned, Sauga. When they're going downwind, no hesitation, go long. Just somebody runs long, run for your life and catch the disc. Doesn't work, well, High Tides have to work it up upfield for the 70 yards remaining. So we'll take I believe it's the halftime now. Yes, we are at the 48th minute. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back with hopefully some interviews to share with you. So our apologies for this little confusion. It was a timeout call. We were thinking it was the halftime, but thanks to Clay, we were advised that there was a team misconduct foul against, I think it's against Sauga, who spiked the disc after the score, and you are not allowed to do that. Even though you see it on YouTube, even though you see it in other circuits, you cannot do that. Otherwise, you will be granted with a team misconduct. So thanks for the advisory, and thank you, Clay, for this information. High Tides near their own brick mark. C'est Landry. C'est l'artilleur en chef. On trouve l'espace ici, là, une belle passe avec une détente en bas des genoux. Le numéro 88, Arthur Leblanc, là, qui fait la démonstration de toutes ses habiletés de passeur. Encore une fois, Leblanc et Landry, oh, le disque qui flotte ici, là. Bon, ça a été attrapé en même temps. It was caught at the same time. So, the rule, if you catch it at the same time, is offense will keep possession. And there is not much argument here. So some discussion to make sure everybody's on the right spot. High Tides. C'est le numéro 14, Quel Hébert. Encore une fois, Landry. Landry cherche une option, donne des directives à Leblanc en soutien. Leblanc contourne sa marque avec une passe chirurgicale à son coéquipier pour inscrire le 7e point. 7 points scored by High Tide, which will lead now, if I'm not mistaken, to the halftime at the 7-point mark. Here we go. I got some few thumbs up. So I'm assuming I am right, and it's confirmed by the observers. So 7-5, 2-point lead for High Tide, which have scored so far 5 break point against 2 by Sauga. So now we'll take a short break. We'll be right back in a few minutes with hopefully some interviews with players from both teams. Stay tuned. So halftime interview with Max Harris wearing number 92 from the Sauga squad. So Max, that was an exciting first half that you guys have played, but you're still trailing by 2. So what happened in the first half leading to that 2 points deficit?
Yeah, you know what? You know, they're an incredible team. They come out here from New Brunswick. They're really working the middle well. Their defense on their zone is very it's very stifling through our middle, but you know, we're still keeping there. We're keeping with them. We've gotten a few breaks now here, so we're feeling good.
So, and what do you tend to do differently in the second half in order to close that 2 points deficit?
Yeah, so they're coming out of halftime. I'm pretty sure they're receiving, so we're gonna be sort of fighting our way back. I think we're throwing them a lot of looks. I think as we show them new zones, as we show them new mans, we do some taxis and whatnot. I think we're sort of bringing in the reins on them. I think we're starting to shut them down, especially through the middle. You know, that's what they got. Then if we can take that away, then we're laughing.
So thank you very much,
Yeah,
Max.
of
And
course.
wishing you the best of luck for the remaining of this game and the remaining of the tournament.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Max.
Have a good one.
On est avec Jacob Boutotte-Lajoie, le digne représentant de High Tide de Nouveau-Brunswick. Merci d'être avec nous, Jacob.
Pas de problème.
Alors, ton équipe mène 7-5 après cette première mi-temps. Comment expliques-tu cette avance que vous avez réussi à
Je pense qu'on a bien arrivé à briser leur zone parce qu'on est habitué à jouer dans le vent. Au Nouveau-Brunswick, ils vendent beaucoup. So, yeah, je pense qu'on est habitué à jouer dans le vent. Nos swings sont bons. Puis je pense qu'on joue assez vite. So, ouais, je pense que c'est ça qui nous a aidés. Mais il faut continuer pour la deuxième mi-temps et tout.
Ben justement, est-ce que tu penses qu'il faut adapter des choses en deuxième mi-temps ou on continue le travail que vous avez fait jusqu'à maintenant?
On va continuer à faire qu'est-ce qu'on fait. Qu'est-ce qu'on peut améliorer, c'est peut-être notre défense. Parce qu'ils ont quand même fait 5 points sur notre équipe. Notre défense main-to-main, sur homme à homme. On peut être plus tight, maybe. Ou nos zones, être plus actifs, laisser moins de passes longues. Yeah, je pense qu'on va avoir ce game-là, certain.
Eh bien, merci beaucoup, Jacob, pour ton temps. On te souhaite une excellente continuité pour le reste du match, puis la meilleure des chances pour le reste du tournoi.
Merci à toi.
Merci beaucoup. Là.
Pas de problème.
I love working with a team towards a common goal.
For the camaraderie.
Camaraderie and playing with my teammates.
I play for my team.
Teamwork and the connections that I can build on and off field.
For the community and the exercise.
Because of the community and the competition.
I like playing Ultimate Frisbee for the competition.
I play for the competition and the fun.
For fun.
Because fun.
I love getting to work hard.
You get out of it what you put into it.
Leave everything out here.
Every time I step on the field, I want to be a better player.
You know, give something people to talk about.
Be happy but never satisfied. To step away from real life and focus on Frisbee.
I play because I love Ultimate.
Find your drive.
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 We are back for this second half, featuring High Tides from New Brunswick against Sauga from Ontario. High Tide with a 7-5 lead on the receiving end. And to kick things off, there was a foul call, some contact. Incidental contact, but nonetheless contact. So you see number 91, Corey Ferguson, calling the foul. That might have been caused by Team 11. So they're discussing it, they're reaching out to the observers, and then the observers will rule out. So it's a confirmed foul, so the disc goes back to number 91. No arms done, no arguments, no hates, only love.
That's the good thing about the sport. It is or it isn't. That's all it is.
The core of the sport is it's a self-officiated sport. High Tide. On bouge bien le disque, le blanc. Et là, il y a eu un appel d'obstruction pick call. Everybody staying still, making sure to go back to the place they were when the call was made. Once again, quickly resolute, moving on. Disc is back into play. Leblanc, belle petite passe, superbe tracé du numéro 17, Hébert Chiasson, le long de la ligne. Ah, c'est lui là, qui est cassé, cherche une ouverture. Oh, quel pivot et quelle course du numéro 88, Arthur Leblanc. Et d'entrée de jeu, High Tide, qui sécurise.
Really cheeky spin move there by the handler there to just kind of spin, work his defender all the way around, and then to be able to have a wide open throw into the end zone. I've been a victim of that play before.
Alors, si je ne me trompe, c'était un point bris. If I'm not mistaken, it was a break point. High Tide having started the game on defense. So that was an offense hold, so no break. But still a point, but no break. High Tide have scored so far 5 break points, while Sauga only responded with 2. So 8-5 for the dark jerseys. So I'd like to give maybe a kudo to the coaching staff of these two teams. So for Sauga, there's Kevin Lavin, Dave Pearson, Natasha Pace, who are spending gazillions of hours organizing, training, planning, making sure these athletes are at their best for this national championship. So kudos to the Sauga's coaching staff. And on the High Tide, there is Ryan Burns and also Oscar Hébert Cregan, So both veteran of High Tide and sophomore of U Ottawa, while and the other one, Oscar McCregan, veteran of High Tide and also junior for McGill in Montreal. Pearson will put the disc back into play midfield. There was an offside call against High Tide. Duncan, Sauga's captain, wearing number 26. Torrance holding it. He's looking for Pearson, but they're well defended, well blocked. Floaty disc, and it's denied by number 14, Kel Hébert, qui effectue la défensive. C'est lui qui remettra le disque en jeu pour High Tide, qui sera en chasse du premier point bris de cette deuxième mi-temps. Un appel de marché difficilement contestable, Ludovic Imbeau. Sans dommage. Beau bloc ici. Nice block by number 3, Sam Belvedere, going long. He's just running for his life and is scoring! Double happiness by number 3, Sam Belvedere, doing the block and running deep for Sauga's 6 point, hanging on 2 points behind High Tide, still in the driver's seats, 8-6 for the dark jerseys. So great point by Sauga. So that's one thing we've seen so far, Tyler. Like Sauga is able to hang on, even though they're still trailing, but they say, no, we're still there, we're fighting.
And it looks like a fight. They're absolutely going for these discs, and there was no hesitation. That player, I forget his name, but when he got the D,
yeah,
it was an automatic run to the end zone.
Just running for his life.
Yes,
literally.
He's got the thirst. He's got the thirst.
It just shows like a determination and the mindset these players are in. They're here to fight. They're here to play great ultimate, and it's not finished until the fat lady sings. I think there's something like that.
That's it. Something along those lines.
Whoever that singer is. Sauga, great pool. High Tide, en mouvement. C'est Leblanc, Arthur Leblanc. Beau lancé du côté ouvert à Bouteau la joie. Vous a donné une belle entrevue de mi-temps. Là, c'est Leblanc là, qui prend les choses à sa charge. Le numéro 7, Alexis. Est-ce qu'il est à l'intérieur? Les observateurs confirment que c'est un point High Tide. Wow! That was quick. Great execution by the New Brunswick squad, securing a 3-point lead in the second half.
It looked like a very well executed point by certainly the whole squad, but LeBlanc, 88, where he pointed for the holes he wanted, he pointed for the cuts he wanted, and he really worked it. He had control of that point there. He really made that one work. Yeah.
So is there a timeout call? No, we're still. There's some discussion with the. There was some words you should not say that were said after the point by the High Tide squad. Maybe maybe mismanaged enthusiasm, as I would say. Unless you have other words.
That's a wonderful way to use that.
I think.
I'm going to use that from now on.
Okay.
Mismanaged enthusiasm.
As long as you don't use the word that were said.
There we go.
But anyway, the observers are there to make sure that the deserved respect stays on the field.
Yeah, and to speak to the ultimate in general, you know, the game is really about spirit of the game. So it's one thing, you know, you really get out here and compete and do your best, but you have to be spirited, you have to be respectful to the other players and the observers and the people watching. So
the spirit of the game. Some people wonder what it is. Well, you know, that's a part of the answer. Landry avec le lancer d'engagement. Wow, what a great pull! Upwind, landing, floating, ending its course a few yards from Sauga's goal line, allowing High Tide's defense to set in a zone defense. Person, oh, that was partially blocked by number 14, Kael Hébert. Quickly move into Rochon-Paris, but wow, that was a quick turnover. High Tide punishing without hesitating Sauga for this error, scoring their 10-point first break point of the second half. There is some discussion. We haven't gotten the confirmation by the observers it was in, but they're taking notes again. There's some verbal misusage again. See by Clay, our dedicated cameraman, there might have been some spiking of the disc, which you're not allowed to do that. You know, if you look on YouTube, some people spike the disc. Well, you know, it's not because it's on YouTube you should do it. Many things on YouTube you should not do. One of them is spiking the disc. Don't do that. It is not allowed. So nonetheless, High Tide now having a 4-point lead versus Sauga. We expected that game to be very well fought and very tight. And so far, well, it goes as expected. So already an hour, 10 minutes. So there's less than, let's say 10-ish minutes remaining. So Tyler, what are the odds? You're trailing by 4. You're on the receiving end.
They need some quick points. Sauga does. It's going to be tough. I want to see them do it. I want to see a great game. They've got to execute. They can't give the disc up at this point. If they want it to happen, they got to keep possession.
All starts with possession of that white piece of plastic that we call a disc. Nice high release. Sauga still fighting, but High Tide's zone defense is pretty tight. Another high release, gutsy high release. Nice pass and run by one of the two twins, Tim Lavin. Now it's a floaty disc. Everybody's invited to the party, and it's won by number 25, Killian Mullen, winning that aerial battle. But oh, great second effort. Was that caught? I think it was dropped, but the player stays down. Fortunately, great second effort. Is it Anthony Lavin? I believe it is. So coaching staff are there. Players having a knee down. Great second effort. He landed. Doesn't seem that brutal from our point of view, but we're not the ones suffering the fall. Of course, it's always easy from our point of view.
Yeah, I always find it hurts a lot less if you do come up with a disc. The adrenaline kind of keeps you alive a little bit, but I mean, it's a sport where people tend to throw their bodies around, and once in a while it gets you.
In addition to that, it's your third game of the day. Tough weather condition. It's warm, cold, windy, sunny. You're tired. Good thing the player is on his own 2 feet right now. I suspect he will be asked to be substituted. Indeed, he is. Now the observers are there. Just wait for the confirmation. It's not a point. It's a turnover But Sauga, as you mentioned, Tyler, where they needed to score, they needed to hold the disc. And unfortunately, they're losing it in high tides. Oh. Landry qui distribue le disque. Il donne la joie. Maintenant à Hébert. Hébert pivote bien. Landry, encore une fois, qui dicte les choses. Quel match il a connu. Number 9 from High Tide really acting as the captain of this O-line, really dictates the pace and distributing disc all across the field. Often touching the disc 1 time out of 2, 1 time out of 3. Oh, cette passe ici de Abraham Léger n'a pu la maîtriser. Sauga going long, but oh, there was 2 receivers there, but it's just a little too far. Was put out of reach by the wind, which is not taking any break here in Edmonton. And it's a timeout call by High Tide while we are moving towards the end of this game. We're already an hour, 15 minutes into the game.
Another long point where, again,
it has been a long point. You're absolutely right. So if you want to know more about the upcoming web stream of this Junior National Championship, don't hesitate to look on the Ultimate Canada Facebook page or all their social media. All the links and the schedules are there for you to enjoy. And as we mentioned, after this Junior National Championship, which will conclude this Wednesday, we are kicking in with the senior division, hosting the women's, the mixed, and the open division, while we're hearing the horn blow signaling the soft cap. So we will finish this point. We'll take the higher score, we'll add up 1, and this will be the winning score to reach in order to win this game. So if High Tide scored, that will be 11-6. It will be a game to 12. If Sauga score, the score will be 10-7. So the winning score will have to be 11. Landry was looking long at great ambition on that throw, but kind of slipped out of his hand due to the wind. Duncan going around his mark. Really, Sauga trying things to shake things up, creating some opportunities, but not able to materialize. So 2 weeks ago, there was the Master National Championship hosted in Ottawa. So this week, it's the junior and senior. And in 2 weeks from now, it's the Grandmaster National Championship, which will be hosted in Victoria, British Columbia. Wonderful city. Not only because Clay, our cameraman, is from Victoria, but yeah, it's one of the reasons, but not the only reason. Great pass by Sauga, concluding, yes, winning that marathon point with their 7 points, still trailing by 3, High Tide 10. Sauga from Ontario 7. We are in soft cap mode, so it's a game to 11.
Yeah, Sauga really feeling the pressure to score there. You saw a few shots that they hadn't been taking all game, knowing they got to score. Time definitely not on their side at this point. I think, at this point, just kind of get through the game, go home, find a hot tub. They're at the hotels, somewhere to relax, figure out what happened today, back at it tomorrow.
Some people might say, well, grab a beer, but we are in the junior division. So no, they will not grab a beer.
No. Not even a near beer.
Nope. Would have a different discussion if it was in the senior division. That we don't need to tell them to grab a beer. They do it. In the meantime, high tides on the receiving end of the pool, which led deep out of bounds. So we'll put back into play at the brick mark. So still a lot of action here in Edmonton to close this first of 3 days of Junior National Championship 2025 edition. There's 2 categories. There's open and women. There is no mix in the junior division. So miscued by High Tide, who had the opportunity to close the game, but this was just redirect just above the intended receiver's head. So Sauga still in hopes of closing the 3-point deficit they're suffering from on the scoreboard. Great inside cut. Duncan, the captain of the Sauga squad, going long, floating, and it's another point for the white jerseys, breaking the High Tide offense line and making it a 2-point game.
Again, that good shot. That's a shot that I hadn't really seen them take much of all game, but they're feeling it. They're connecting right now. They got some momentum. We're going to see some really cool stuff the next couple of minutes.
Number 26, Duncan for Sauga, which is kind of their designated bomber, is throwing those long passes. And I think he was told by the coaching staff, hey, please be trigger happy. You don't say that often as a coach. Come on, just put it long.
As a player, though, you love to hear that.
Well,
right, you're licensed to shoot.
If the coach says it, I'm going to do it.
Sometimes I do it when the coach says not to.
There you go. It's a great pull by number 2, Anthony Lavin, which was injured a few minutes ago, but hope for seems very well. So long game by High Tides, and here it is, number 8, Boutout Lajoie, Jacob de son prénom, qui vient terminer la discussion. C'est une victoire de High Tides par le pointage de 11-8. So the New Brunswick squad winning over the Ontarian squad by the score of 11-8. Great game, great exchange. Very well fought, but the 4 consecutive breaks in the first half scored by High Tide. Sauga seems that they were never able to recover from those, suffering those 4 break points, I should say, in the first half. So congratulations for both of the teams. Their first day is done. While we see them shaking hands. So as we mentioned, we'll have a minimum of 3 games on the plan for the web stream tomorrow. So stay tuned for the hours and the schedule. There will be a ton of action remaining. So thanks for being with us. Merci à beaucoup d'avoir été des nôtres au cours de la journée. On a encore plusieurs matchs à vous présenter pour la division junior. Puis ensuite, on va enchaîner avec la division senior à partir de jeudi jusqu'à dimanche. Donc, toute l'équipe de Webstream fera partie. Aura plaisir de partager ces moments-là. Et on me rappelle qu'il y aura aussi un dernier match présenté aujourd'hui, qui est le Showcase, qui n'a pas été présenté hier dû aux conditions climatiques, les orages qui sont tombés sur Edmonton. Donc, on reprendra le match à 4h30. Donc, there will be one more game. So the showcase that was intended to be shown yesterday, but due to the thunderstorm, was postponed to today at 4:30, and it will be web streamed. So we have an additional assignment here today, and it's looking forward to be an exciting one again. So stay tuned. We will start at 4:30 Edmonton time, so about 35 minutes away from now. So in the meantime, we'll take a short break. Tyler, it was a pleasure calling the game with you once again. It was his first assignment as a commentator, almost first.
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever talked and someone actually had to listen to me. It's great.
Well, there you go. So congratulations, you did an amazing job.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing the mic. Thanks to Clay also for doing, not only for coming from Victoria, BC, which is the greatest city because you come from there, but you did a great job. And thanks to the whole team for producing the game. So stay tuned and we'll talk to you at 4:30 for the showcase game on day one of this junior national division. Stay tuned.
Stage to keep possession alive. Huge bid, gets the target. Great opportunity for the Germans, and they break with ease. Throw it the full 80 yards to the field. Are you kidding me? And an incredible catch. You are kidding me. Oh my gosh! One of the plays of the year. Stage to keep